Hey guys, welcome back to Vince-Vell Customs. Today we're going to go over how to use an ultrasonic jewelry kit cleaner to clean your airbrush. Now, I got this the other day. I did an experiment with a couple airbrushes. I talked to a couple people that use this stuff. So I pretty much got the process on how to do it. So first things first, what you do is you need to get yourself one of these little ultrasonic jewelry cleaners kits. You can get them on eBay anywhere from 25, 30 some odd bucks shipped. So at first I thought that you're supposed to sit it in there and let it vibrate and breaks up all the pieces. What you do is you break down your airbrush parts and you put it in there and you let it sit for a while. Now, depending on how caked up your airbrush is, you can let it sit in the water and the ultrasonic cleaner for about an hour, or you let it sit overnight. So basically this was, I think, about 30 bucks. It comes with this little great piece so you could put your airbrush parts in there. And what I also picked up was some concentrated jewelry cleaners. So what I did is put about a cap full of the jewelry cleaner in there with water, and there's like a little bit of a line that lets you know not to overfill. So to give you an idea, I'm going to actually put in my airbrush on a piece of paper. What I did is broke down all the parts that I won't be putting in here. I leave that here so that let me know that these parts go with the CH. I'm also going to be putting in some other airbrushes that are caked up in there, but I'm just giving you an idea how to set it up now. So what you need to do is let it sit in there for like an hour or so, and then you turn on the jewelry kit, maybe in the beginning and at the end, let it vibrate, and then you use like your airbrush tools at the end, a paintbrush, paper towels, and kind of clean it all off. So basically what it does is it vibrates all that paint on the metal and everything comes out. So I did a couple airbrushes before and it worked out pretty cool, so it's actually a lot easier and stuff. So basically, to give you an idea, is once you put the airbrush in there, you close your piece, and this one is on 3-minute timer, so when you turn it on, it vibrates. Not very loud, but gives you an idea that what it does is it vibrates all that paint and stuff and makes it easier to come off the metal. So I'll let this sit for like 3 minutes, let it vibrate, and then what I'm going to do is do some other stuff. Come back like in an hour or so, let it vibrate again, and usually then it's pretty much easier to clean it all up. Get a lot of paint out and go from there. So you can actually turn this off too and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my other airbrush parts, make sure each piece of paper's got the parts going to the right one so I don't mix and match, and then at the end just clean it all up. What I did was on my other airbrushes, they were really caked up and really bad. I mean really bad. I let it sit overnight. And that's what I was told, is just let it sit overnight, and then when you wake up the next day, you come back to it, turn on the vibrate, take out your airbrush, and everything comes off really nice and clean. What I found out is the water gets like really dirty, and a lot of little paint pieces come up, and it really vibrates and it gets it out. Now, I don't know exactly what's what, but what I did is I did take out some of the airflow parts at the underneath the airbrush, because I'll do the same thing with this one. I'll take out the airflow piece there, I'll take off the cap, and I also took off the very tiny needle that goes onto it, and I let it sit here because I think with the other one I was doing, when I had the needle on there, really wasn't getting able to clean it out, but with the needle off in here, as you can see with that piece off in there, I'll be able to get in there with the tool and brush it all out. Plus, I've actually been getting caked up paints up in this area too, so the goal is to get a lot of it cleaned out as well. But as you can see, I had it sitting here for a little bit, and it's already starting to get a little bit of a discoloration, so some of the yellow is starting to come off from that piece. So what we'll do is we'll come back like in an hour or so once this has been soaking in here, and we'll turn it on and off every once in a while, and then I'll show you guys how it cleans it up. Alright guys, it's been about a half hour, maybe a little bit more, and just to give you an idea what goes on is, like I said, every once in a while I'll kick it back on, but it gives you an idea of what it's looking like inside. You can see it's pretty mucky now. It looks like a lot of the paint and everything's coming off with the chemical and stuff, so it's working. When you pick one up and you start moving your hand around it, all the paint pieces start coming off, and it starts, kind of use your nail and it just comes off pretty good. But a lot of the other paints around all the handles and everything come off. So the thicker stuff takes a little bit longer. It doesn't come off right away. Be careful, since it's mucky, you don't want to bend anything. but basically you could just start, you know, getting all that off, and it starts coming off on your fingers and everything. But just to make sure you close it, you can kick it on again, let it run. I'm gonna let this sit again for maybe, this might stay in for maybe more than an hour, maybe 2 hours or so. I'm gonna kind of walk away from it for a little bit. Just really want to get these cleaned up and soaked. If I have any that are really super caked up, we'll leave it in overnight. But we'll come back when we're ready to start kind of brushing it off and cleaning everything up. Just kind of just a midway point to give you guys an idea of what's happening. I did look online. There is other type of ultrasonic jewelry cleaners. There's bigger ones. There's ones that you can time from 3 minutes to an hour. There's industrial ones. I really don't know how those would work if you left an airbrush in there and really, you know, let it go for like an hour. But from what I'm told, you know, 3 minute intervals like this is pretty much fine. The key thing is letting it soak and then hitting the airbrush down the line, you know, the ultrasonic button and everything. So that's where we're at. Like I said, I'm still learning how to do this as I go along as well, but giving you guys an idea that, you know, for about 40 bucks or less, you can get yourself an ultrasonic cleaner, a couple tools, even a toothbrush I think could probably work, and some gem cleaner. So it's working out pretty good so far, and we'll be back when we're ready to pull them out and start cleaning them up. Alright guys, so it's been about 2 hours, and I started taking them out. So as you can see with these two airbrushes, I took them out and I cleaned them up. A lot of paint gunk came off, just simple wiping it down. Made sure that the pulleys and everything are nice and loose. I dried it up. I put them onto my airbrush hose, made sure that sprayed out any kind of extra you know, moisture. Got it all out. Tested it with some you know, water just to make sure everything was spraying okay, and they're pretty good, nice and clean, and everything's gunked up. Got a lot of gunk and stuff off in there, and those are ready to go. So we'll pull out the main one that was in there and give you an idea of what I've been doing with these. So you pretty much pull it out, and you can just start wiping it down, and you know, using your fingernail, and all this paint starts coming off on here. Now, it's not that big of a deal that it's gunked up over in here on the outside. The main thing is getting the inside of the cup out, which comes pretty much, gets it cleaned up pretty well. Comes out very well onto the, you know, paper towel. And you get all that out pretty good. Wipe around the edges here. Anything down in here. So looking through it, see a nice little, you know, hole. Pretty much everything's going good. Then you can take your, you know, airbrush tools. You take the thin one. You don't want to go with the big ones and scratch anything. You could go in here and sort of get any of the residue that's in there. You can kind of take the big end. If you got any kind of paint that gets skunked up over in here, you could kind of, a little bit, not much. Don't go crazy. You don't want to scratch anything that's important. You just want to get any kind of gunk or anything out. But looking pretty good in there. Getting a lot out of the inside of the cup. Getting nice and shiny in there. So we're looking pretty good. So what you want to do is you get like a light or a piece of white paper, and you kind of look through, and you can kind of make sure everything's looking pretty good. There's nothing clogged up around there. And if you got any of your other pieces in there, you can just lift this up, find your extra pieces, pull them out. Now I didn't do the needle tip in here because I don't know how the tip would actually go, so I cleaned out the tip a different way. Just used regular Winsor Newton airbrush cleaner. So now in here there's some paint gucked up in this little piece here, so I'm just using my thing to kind of pull out, coming out nice and easy. As you can see, the paint comes off on the fingernail pretty well. So it works out really good. It's a nice little system. Yeah, you're going to get some moisture within the airflow piece, but this really does help get a lot of that out. But it does clean it up pretty well. Does it pretty safe. Everything's looking pretty good. Now blowing into it like I'm doing, it's kind of spurting back into my face, but I just don't care. I mean, if you want to wear glasses or, you know, maybe use another airbrush to kind of hit it, you can. You know, you can get your hose, your airbrush, and just kind of. But looking pretty good, nice and clean, nice and shiny. Got all the gunk off. Didn't take that long. If you use harsher chemicals, it might need to stay longer, like maybe enamels and stuff. I'm not really sure. I only stick to acrylics. But other than that, it comes out pretty good. You can see it's all on the paper towel pretty well. And not really many problems. So the next step is pretty much piecing it together. So I'm going to piece it back together right now. And we'll come back and we'll just do the test of what I've been doing the other ones. Alright, so we're back, and basically I put it all together, so I just wanted to make sure that when I put it together there's no hissing, there's no noise, I'm not having any airflow problems. Just to take a quick check, just press it, pull up full blast, making sure the airbrush is working, doing pretty good. So everything's working good now. So then just the last step is just take some, you know, water with some Windex that I use to clean, just kind of. I'm getting a nice flow, it's going through pretty good, and everything's working good. So, no problems. So it looks good. So therefore, that's pretty much how you clean up the airbrush with a gem cleaner. So next step is I'll take some of my Teflon tape, and I tape it around here to quick disconnect to the airbrush, this piece here, only because sometimes when I hold it, I kind of turn it and it comes off on me. Plus it also helps if there's any kind of airflow there. So that's my next step on that. But basically, that's all you pretty much need to do to clean out your airbrush with a ultrasonic gem cleaner. Hopefully it helps you guys out, gives you guys some ideas. If you guys have any techniques that you use that might help me out, put a reply and go from there. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.